Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to use layers in your drawing. So you can find layers over here in the AutoCAD ribbon under the layers panel. If you click on this drop down, you will see that there is just one layer created by default in AutoCAD, and that's the zero layer. So if you open AutoCAD and start drawing, by default it's just going to draw in the zero layer like that. Let's select all of this and delete it. I'll show you how to create new layers. You can come over here in the layer panel and select this button that says layer properties. It's going to open this dialog box. You can do the same by pressing LA on your keyboard and enter. Now let's size this up so you can read this properly. So if you notice here in this top left corner, there are 4 options. The first one is to create a layer, so let's do that. Let's create a new layer and let's call it thick, because this is a layer where I'll be putting all my thick lines in. Press enter. Let's create another layer. Let's call it medium. Let's create another layer. Let's call it thin. Let's create one more layer and call it dashed. So if you want to turn layers on and off, make sure first of all you are not in that layer. So I'm going to go in the thick layer and then I can turn my other layers off. You can also turn your current layer off, however it will come with a pop-up, so you can just say turn the current layer off. So that will allow you to turn the layer off in which you are currently residing in. Next is the freeze option, and honestly you're not going to be using this much. After that it's the lock. If you don't want your geometry to be selected, you can just come over here and lock the layer in which it is residing. So if you click on this button, you can lock or unlock them. Next is the plot option. You can enable or disable them, which means that all the lines in that layer will not be printed. And next we have color. So let's assign some color to our layers. So I'm going to make my active layer 0. I'm just going to come here. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to assign it this red color. I'm going to go to medium and assign it this cyan color. Thin can be yellow, and dashed I'm going to select green. Next we can see line types. I'm going to keep the line type continuous for all of them except dashed. So I'm going to select that. And here you can see we just have one line type loaded. So let's go ahead and load other types. And if you see, AutoCAD has some other options that we can go through. Let's select this one and say OK. There. Line weight. Let's set the line weight for this thick layer. I'm going to select something like 40 or 0.40 mm. For the medium, I'm going to select 20. For thin lines, I'm going to select 0.9. And for the dashed, I'm going to keep it as default. Now if you notice, over here there is an option to select all your layers. So I can just left click it and then right click, and I can turn the visibility of all the layers on and off. I can also select all of the layers and I can lock them or I can unlock them. I'm going to select 0 as my current layer and I'm going to close this. Now let's put objects into certain layers. So I'm going to come over here and draw a few shapes. Now let's put these shapes into their respective layers. I'm going to put this circle into the thick layer, so I'm going to go to the drop down and select thick. If you see, I have the object selected and the layer is showing thick. Now when I press escape, it is going to come back to the current layer that I had set, which is 0. Let's do a similar exercise for this rectangle. Select it. Let's put it in the medium layer. Now when I press escape, it's going to come back to my current layer. Now let's try something different. I am going to go and I'm going to select thin layer as my default current layer. Now I'm going to select this polyline and it is showing that it was drawn in the 0 layer. So I'm going to drop down and select thin, and now when I escape, it is still going to show thin because that is my current default layer. So this is how we can put different lines and objects in their respective layers. Now let's say I want to select all the lines in my drawing which are in the thick layer. So an easy way to do that is to go to the layer properties and select all of them and let's lock them, and let's go to the thick layer and unlock that. I'm also going to make the thick layer my default layer. I'm going to close this, and when I hover and select all of my objects, it will show that actually only the layer that is unlocked can be selected. So I'm going to press M, enter, which is to move, and only the layer that is unlocked is selected. I'm going to move it to here. And to disable this feature, I'll go back to layers, I'll select all and I'll unlock them. Now I can select all of my objects in all the layers. Let's try the same exercise by turning the layer off. I'm going to select all of them, visibility, I'm going to turn it off, and I'm only going to activate the medium layer. Close this, and if you see, all the objects that are in layers that are not in the medium layer have been turned off. So I not only cannot select them, I cannot even see them. Let's disable this feature. Go to all, right click, visibility on. I can also come and manually turn it on and off here. It's just easier to select all of them from this button. Now, what if I want another object to copy the properties by way of layer of a different object? So basically, I want this rectangle to come in the thick layer. To do that easily, instead of selecting the object and manually changing its layers, there's another way of doing it. So I'm going to select this object, match layer, and select the destination. As you can see, it has copied the layers of the second object that I have selected. Let's undo this and try again. I'm going to select this polyline, match layer, this one. So by doing this, just note that the second object that you are going to select is the layer that you want your first object to turn into. Another easy way to turn layers on and off or lock them is if you come to the layer panel, you'll see these first line of commands, these 5. These allow you to turn layers on and off, or to isolate or lock them, or to even make them your current layer. So let's quickly go over through these. I'm going to select an object. I'm going to go over here and turn it off. I'm going to select that object and it has gone off. I can press escape. I can turn it on by coming over here and disabling this bulb. Layer and object is visible again. I can similarly lock them by coming here, selecting the lock option, selecting the object, and now the entire layer is locked. And I cannot actually select it and perform any functions. I can come to this drop down and I can unlock that layer. So this is how we can use layers in our drawing. If you have any questions, you can list them in the comment section below. If you like my video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up button and even subscribe. Thank you.